G'day, welcome back to Bootlosophy. My name is Tech, and in this video, I'm filming in Auckland in New Zealand, hence no acknowledgement of country. Uh, I'm compiling in this video a series of days in which, when Amanda and I, my wife, were on holiday in Auckland, we spent in the great outdoors in Auckland, in the really beautiful parks and gorgeous outdoor spaces. And for that kind of walking, I decided to bring along my Russell Moccasin Backcountry because I'd blabbed on so much about how comfortable it was off-road. And so I decided to really test it out. And then at the end of this video, I'll bring you a summary of how it performed. So keep watching. I'll show you different aspects across different days, edited together, of Auckland and its outdoor area. But introducing, if you haven't seen my videos, the Russell Moccasin Backcountry. This is a real moccasin construction in the sense that it has the leather lasted from below, pulled up under the last, and then sewn on with this apron flap here, and then hand stitched in that moccasin stitch. It is then Blake stitched onto a leather midsole. There's no insole per se because the leather pieces that make up the vamp from underneath are the insoles. And then on top of that or below that, depending on which way you're holding it up, is a rubber full slip sole for better adhesion. And then this Vibram Rochia sole is then glued onto that. So extremely comfortable boot, extremely reactive in the sense of what you can feel under your feet. So I'm looking forward to using it. Lovely timberjack leather from SB Foot, which, as you should know, is Red Wing's own tannery. Very supple, very, very comfortable leather. I've added a kiltie. This is from Dale's Leatherworks. Go check out his website. Lovely bison kiltie, which is really great because this is a almost fully gusseted tongue that it's very generous and you kind of have to fold it a little bit. Other than that, watch this video, enjoy Auckland's great outdoors, and I'll end up with a summary of how the boot performed across the 10 days that we were here. And because just before we started the trip, my wife challenged me on a capsule wardrobe incorporating only clothing from Huckberry. Interspersed with this video are going to be different shots of me wearing different Huckberry items. So on my feet are obviously the Russell moccasins that I talked about earlier. And then the jeans are Flint and Tinder's All-American Selvage jeans in slim. And this is their Proof Rover Jungle shirt. It's a reasonably thick material. So the weather report is 20 degrees Celsius and a single layer. They're really good in sort of telling you how many layers to wear here in New Zealand. Double pockets, zip pockets on the inside of them. So there's actually double pockets. And you can roll the sleeves up, roll the sleeves down, tuck it in, leave it out. Now, on to the parks. The first park I wanted to introduce to you was Albert Park, which is really right by our hotel. A small park up a hill. I think it was an extinct volcano because Auckland is built on a whole series of extinct volcanoes. So it's a very up and down city. And wherever you are in Auckland, you can always see the Sky Tower, no different than the park, which has lots of these little walkways. Really sunny day, but cool and windy. So I wore the wax trucker jacket from Flint and Tinder, and the Russell Moccasin boots were just supremely comfortable. Moving on to another day was our visit to Waiheke Island, off the coast of Auckland. You get to it by riding on a ferry, very large ferry, very comfortable. And during that ferry ride, leaving the ferry terminal that I showed you in an earlier video of this series, it was a fairly smooth ride, being really, I guess, through the open sea. You saw a lot of the city of Auckland as we left. And then on Waiheke Island itself, which is really a lot of wineries, we had a hop-on, hop-off explorer bus. And the bus took you right around the island. You could probably get off and get on all the time. visiting really a lot of wineries that are on the island. Walking in the Russell Moccasins was remarkably comfortable on this sort of grassy landscape. We came across a museum, and this is a very interesting exhibit in the museum. Let's take a closer look. What this says is, a bootmaker's business in Waiheke not only required footwear but also mended saddles, bridles and harnesses. Most households, however, owned their own shoe lasts, and shoe repair was commonly carried out by individuals as the need arose. How about that, folks? Mending your own boots. There are three main villages on Waiheke Island. This is the main one. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name, and if I do remember, I probably can't pronounce it. But as you can see, very touristy in the villages. People wandering around, souvenir shops and so on, and nice places to sit and have a drink. Another park that we went to was the Domain, the Auckland Domain, which was host to the Auckland War Memorial Museum. Very imposing building with its Doric columns and just looked really beautiful. Inside were various exhibits of the wars, including this Zero fighter plane from the Second World War, as well as this Supermarine Spitfire. And for those of you who might have seen my interviews and so on, you know I'm a bit of a World War II nerd, so this museum is fantastic. The Domain itself is, I think, Auckland's largest park, and lots of green areas, places to sit and have picnics, nice walks along the grass, paddocks, and small intimate places everywhere. This is Mount Eden. It's an extinct volcano that you see behind me, which has some significant Maori cultural references. And it's really bang in the middle of Auckland, between the city and its suburbs. And you can see the city behind me. It's a hell of a climb to get here. But once you're up here, it's absolutely breathtaking views all around. And I'm going to turn around now, and you see the other side, which is like breathtaking views everywhere. I cheated on this day with a merino wool top I bought in New Zealand. New Zealand's home of merino sheep, obviously. This is the climb up to Mount Eden. You can't even see it, but it really is extremely steep. And then looking down into the crater itself, it's incredible. I'm pretty sure on video you can't see how impressive this volcanic crater is, because it would just look flat green grass, but that's really, really deep down there. And you can see the side walls are actually quite high. From the top of Mount Eden, the city of Auckland is just spread out in front of you. And like I said, you can see the Sky Tower from everywhere. Impressive view. So let's summarize this video about walking around the green areas of Auckland in New Zealand. And I have to say, I'm really impressed by the way that Auckland weaves its parks and its sort of walking countryside in and through the city. Huge volcanoes everywhere, extinct volcanoes, but that means the city is actually very up and down and tricky to walk around in. So to summarize, let's talk through about 2 items of clothing that I found really useful and versatile when I was outside in the sun, walking through grass and parkland and that sort of thing. The first item of clothing is this Proof UPF 72-hour hoodie. Comes with a hood, very light merino wool. In the video, I did once call it a 24-hour hoodie. It lasted a lot longer than that. Being merino wool, it's antimicrobial, so it didn't smell at all. You go out walking in the parks, because it was somewhere around the 18 to 23 Celsius sort of mark during the day. It was cool and not hot. And this was perfectly fine to regulate temperature, even when the sun was out and it started to feel hot, because it's sort of really good in regulating temperature. So I love this. It was used a lot. And in those, oops, dropped something there. In the, I guess out of the whole 10 days, I think I would have spent maybe 4.5 days exploring the parks. One of the things I always brought with me is this Huckberry bestseller. It's the Flint and Tinder wax trucker jacket. The wax has been starting to wear off, as you can see. I found this really useful at wearing it over a t-shirt or over that hoodie when it got cooler. And out in the parks, Auckland is very windy, as you can hear in some of the soundtrack throughout this video. It's very windy, so this was windproof. And then the couple of times when there was an occasional shower, also waterproof. So very, very useful, lovely jacket to have around. All right, now let's talk boots. So what I wore when I went out to explore the gardens and parks in Auckland is this Russell Moccasin Backcountry. Now let me shift myself so it's on here. Okay, so the Russell Moccasin Backcountry is a moccasin style boot, as I explained at the very beginning. Proper moccasin from underneath with this apron stitch then put on. How did it perform? That's what you want to hear. Well, a couple of things. Firstly, extremely comfortable walking around, I think what was designed to walk around in, which is grassland. You know, if you're going hunting in these and you're squishing around grass and slightly squishy, slightly muddy terrain, perfect boot. And in a couple of days that it did rain and we were caught outdoors, this was really helpful because it kept my feet completely clean, even when we were running through puddles trying to get out of the rain. The grip was excellent. The Vibram Rochia sole, I'll put it in the light, really excellent. Quite shock absorbing, certainly very grippy. The leather was extremely comfortable, so supple, and it molded to my ankles. I really felt comfortable totally. A couple of negatives. Well, one's a negative, one's an observation. In order to get to the parks and the grasslands that we did explore, we walked a lot. We took public transport on the buses, and we also walked around the city. So going out for 4 or 5 hours walking around the outdoors, you probably spend a good half hour walking through bitumen roads, as well as paved pavements and sidewalks. Not hugely comfortable on that sort of terrain. I found that because it does not have an insole, it's just got the 2 layers of leather from the uppers and a leather midsole, that I found that the ball of your foot sort of felt the concrete. And we actually had to walk coming out of the hotel through a street that was cobbled. So it was bluestone cobblestones, and that hurt the bottom of the ball of the feet. So this is not a city boot. This is definitely a outdoor boot. Performance overall, I think really, really comfortable. The observation, I'm not sure this is a criticism, but the timberjack leather, which is quite an oily leather when you first get it and put it on, it seemed to me to dry out quite quickly. And you can even see sort of some sort of dryness. You can see the sort of dryness across the creases in the vamp. I don't think that's a problem with the leather, but I think what this tells you is that after each reasonably hard wear, like as I said, I wore this maybe 4 or 5 days in our visit. After each wear, I think you need to clean it. I think you need to condition it. And I'd probably use a waxy, oily conditioner, rather something like Obernoff's. But just be careful you use Obernoff's. I mean, I might probably put a bit on the pull loop just to see that it doesn't really darken the leather. But in my case, I'm going to use the R.M. Williams saddle dressing, which is an oilier conditioner than the R.M. Williams leather conditioner, because I think this needs to absorb the oils into it to continue to feel waxy. You don't have to worry. I don't think there's going to be any cracks or splits, but it starts to look a little dry, and that sort of was interesting because I didn't wear it very hard, to be honest. I just need to take care. All right, so there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and go and watch my other videos. So until I see you the next time, take care out there and see you soon.